1. Welcome back to Between the Lines on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We're at the Tiger Club golf event today at Oakwood Country Club in beautiful Kansas City, Missouri. We've got Andy Hill here, the associate head coach, quarterbacks coach, the Missouri Tigers. Oh, you get a few weeks off here, and then it's time to get after it. How are you, Coach? Everything good?
Yeah, doing great. Right in the middle of football camps and enjoying a great day with the Tiger Quarterback Club over here in Kansas City today.
Do you get some vacation? What's the life of a coach? You get any downtime in the summer?
Yeah, we do. We get 4 weeks off. We get to work a week because we have so many of our freshmen and all of our players are basically in town in Columbia. And so we work that week. We have a couple coaches in the office all throughout the summertime. And then, yes, I go. What I like to do is play golf or go to Montana and go fly fishing.
Oh, really?
So I'm taking my family out first part of July for 10 days or so out there.
I got a guy for you. My brother-in-law, he's a guide in Montana near Bozeman. And my wife's sister is in town, and she just caught like a 25-inch brown trout last week, sent us these pictures. I don't do it. This guy's the fish whisperer. I'm not kidding. I'll hook you up with it. If you want a guide or you need a guy to show you where to go, I'm telling you, I got a great spot. You probably have your own spot, don't you?
I'm in. Whatever. Anybody will take me fishing.
You have a favorite place?
Yeah, I fly into Bozeman.
Okay.
Actually, a friend of mine from Lee Summit, Missouri, Mike Atwell, played football with me at Missouri.
Okay.
He lives in Bozeman, and then we go around Yellowstone Park area, and it's beautiful this time. Like Kansas City's been the last 3 days.
Exactly where he is. His name is Mark McGuire. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? You can't make this stuff up, right?
No, it's hard to believe.
That's hard to believe, but it absolutely is the case. Okay, you got a little promotion here this year. It's looking good for 2013. You've been 17 years at Missouri, I think. Is that right? So this will be your 17th or 18th year?
18th season
18th season coming up. What are the new duties? How have things changed for you?
Well, going from playing coaching coach quarterbacks now, having coached the receiver for 17 years, it's a little different in the fundamentals, the terminology. But truthfully, the last 17 years, I've worked very closely with various quarterback coaches. Most recently, David Yost, who left us. And I've worked, our receivers and quarterbacks, we meet all the time, we talk back and forth. Quarterback comes by me, I was talking things to him, what we're looking at. So, you're looking at defenses, all that stuff is very similar. I think the first couple of spring practices this spring, I was wondering if I needed to be doing more, because I was used to running around coaching 4 and 5 guys versus just coaching 1 guy. And so I settled into it real easily, and looking downfield, you're looking at the safeties, looking at the linebackers, doing the same kind of stuff, but you're coaching 1 person, and you're trying to get those guys to lead and see their reads and progressions and all that. The fundamentals is where everything is, and so we spend a lot of time talking about fundamentals.
It's kind of a spotlight coaching position. Although I did have a gentleman a little while ago came up to me and said, Kevin, I know you're going to ask a lot of these coaches questions today. Everybody always asks about the quarterbacks and the offense. Could you figure out what the defense is going to do? And I said, well, I know everybody still likes to talk quarterback. You know that coming in. Everybody wants to talk Missouri quarterback and what it's going to be. How much of an impact can a quarterback's coach have on these young players? And how much impact do you have in determining who the actual quarterback will be? You seem to be pretty set for this year, but as you're coaching guys along, how much impact can the coach have?
I'd like to think a lot. Again, it comes down to what are the guy's habits, and you don't change the throwing motion as much, because by the time the guy comes in after probably 10 years of training, the thing about being a quarterback coach is a lot of these quarterbacks out of high school have a quarterback guru, so to speak. They have a guy who has been their coach for 4 years, not their high school football coach, but there's a lot of trainers.
If you've recruited them for a reason, they can throw already.
Absolutely,
right?
They can throw.
See that.
And we want to recruit guys who can throw, and we want guys who can throw first and probably be athletic second. But I think as you talk to them about, kind of the gold standard for us has been Chase Daniel. And we've had great players with Blaine Gabbert, Kirk Farmer, certainly Brad Smith. All those guys are great players, but the gold standard is Chase Daniel. And so you're trying to get that guy to have the intangibles as far as walking in, loving the players, investing, respecting. You spend time with those players on the offensive side. They're doing certain things throughout the summertime. Are they spending enough time with their teammates? Are they doing all these things? And so there's a lot of not on the field coaching. There's a lot of also off the field coaching. You're trying to get these young men to lead the football team, and that spends a lot of your time also.
Do you still use Chase? In other words, does James Franklin watch a lot of Chase Daniel film? Is there any of that? Do you go back and say, this is how this guy did it, learn from this?
Well, Chase is in Hawaii right now, but he is the assistant quarterback coach at Missouri.
Okay. All right, very good.
And I've been fortunate, been in Kansas City the last couple of weeks recruiting. I've seen 2 Chiefs practices, and I stay in close contact with Chase, as I do with Blaine and Brad Smith, all those guys, J-Mac. all the former players, but Chase in particular is willing to help all of our players. And we don't really watch film of him. We talk about what he does, and then as he comes in town, he also kind of gives them tidbits, what fundamentals, what he's thinking, how his thought processes work, not only in college but in the NFL. He's drawn a lot from Drew Brees, Alex Smith, Andy Reid. There's been a lot of great background things that Chase Daniel's done that we can really utilize.
Do you have a competition at quarterback this year or not?
We do.
It's going to be open?
It is. It's we left it open. Coach Pinkel and I, we meet a lot about this, and come out. If we started today, James Franklin would start for us today. But we're going into our fall camp starting August 1st, roughly, and we're going to take it, a week to 10 days, 2 weeks tops. So we're going to decide a guy by mid-August. We're going to decide who that guy is and put him out there and let him go.
How important is experience then? You got a guy with a lot of experience.
It's real important. But he was not an established going away guy last year. I think he got hurt a little bit. Corbin Bergstresser came in and did some nice things for us at times. And then James had some moments where he was good, and not like he was in 2011. So it's an open competition. But James has the lead going in. But we feel like that hopefully that experience makes a huge difference.
Andy Hill is our guest. Okay, let's talk about the title, associate head coach. Is that a pay raise? Is there real duties? What is associate head coach? I've always wanted to know exactly what it is.
We don't make what you make, Keith. I can tell you that right now.
Bacon.
But it's really for me. The coordinators have always met with Coach Pinkel. He's never had an associate head coach before.
Right.
And so I'm in more detail what we're doing. We've already had the meeting, our fall camp 2-a-day plan. We're talking about, when I talk about the players, that the three of us meet with the two defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, myself. And so now I'm involved. If Coach Pinkel can't take a speaking engagement, there's kind of filters down type thing. But I think it's more in the forefront. I know some people say it's probably nothing, which...
No, I wasn't implying that. I was just wondering exactly what it means. It's kind of a conduit between the coordinators and to Coach Pinkel when he's not there or can't do something, or...
Kind of that way,
Yeah.
but I think really in Coach Pinkel's hierarchy, what we do is the coordinators, Coach Pinkel and the coordinators, but also now I'm kind of on the same level.
Okay, I'll give you a little example, and it may be somebody that you know, and I've said this on the air a couple of times because I know him pretty well. It's been hard to explain exactly what Sean Snyder is as a coach at K-State, but what I know is he's been there longer than everyone. He knows where everything's buried. He knows everything about everything, and I know Bill just lays stuff on him all the time and says, here it is. You've been at Missouri longer than anybody. You've been there longer than Coach Pinkel. So it sounds like maybe kind of the same thing. You get your arms around a little bit of everything, don't you?
Yeah, you do, and you also like to think you're valuable to the organization.
Right.
And I think at some point when you're doing things, if you're not the coordinator, are you on the same level as the assistant coaches? Yes, I am. The truth is, yes, I am. But also I have a little bit more responsibility in the sense
Actually,
like you said, it's more overall Missouri.
But it's a one-
I've been there quite a while, but at the same time, in our direct football organization right now, I like to feel like I'm fairly important.
How did Kansas City become your city?
Well,
You
just
have
being
really
here,
recruited this city.
over time, if you're in the same spot for a long time, which I have been over here. I didn't recruit Kansas City my first year back in Missouri, now because of Super Bowl. Recruited Kansas City, but I've been here, 15 plus years recruiting. And so the same guy going to the same schools, even if you're not the head coach then, Tony Severinos and those guys still are. They've moved up into the principal's office, and the truth of my, I would like to say success
I'll say it.
in Kansas City has been, I go into a school, I probably know my cousin went there, my guy I played with in college, girls on swim teams, now a swim team coach. But I walked into Lee Summit West High School, the AD there, David Catsby, dated my college roommate. I mean, there's just a lot of crossover that, not in football, but in my life or what, back family and things we've done over time. I walk in, I know a lot of people. And I'm from small town Trenton, Missouri. But I always say everything runs through Trenton, Missouri. And there's a lot of people that live in Kansas City. They're from my hometown, or I've met them. They have sons, daughters, whatever it might be. And so it's just a lot of crossover, and that's been very fortunate for me.
Final question, I'll let you get back on the golf course. Second year in the SEC, that's got to be a little better feeling now, knowing you've been through it. How strange was it to go on the new journey last year and not really know the coaches, the teams, the systems, and learn everything anew? and now you have some new teams you'll play this year, but at least have had some time and been in this league and know more what to expect.
Well, you said it right. The two differences really is the depth of defensive line across the board. Everybody that we played last year has really awesome defensive line. And the second thing is you're playing new teams. You really know the personnel. Is that defensive end the guy we could beat? We knew it last year. If scheme was not something we saw years past. And so just the overall base of knowledge you have with the teams you're facing and the coaching staffs. And you go back to 2008, we knew that K-State was going to do a certain thing in the situation. Then you can go back to it and you draw that from your memory bank. And we don't have that going through the SEC. Now, with 1 year into it,
You built some of it.
you build some of it, and you kind of know what's happening, but you also know the coordinators' tendencies a little bit better, and you just have a better feel as time goes on. And we feel like that second in the SEC, if we can keep our guys healthy, we'll be able to reach it.
I like that question. Was it challenging, fun and challenging to do something that you want and do something new personally for you, but been in Missouri a long time?
I'm a Big 12 guy.
Yeah.
And being in Kansas City, where it's in my mind the epicenter from our area is what it was. And I think going to the SEC, I mean, you accept the challenge. You want to compete and play against the best, and almost not debatable. The SEC's won the national title, and the guys grind. But the truth is, it was a great move for our school in the long term. There's small term pains for long term gains. And we feel like that going to the SEC in the long term is going to really benefit Missouri.
I think I maybe heard you say there's 16 years of knowledge in Missouri went by the wayside. You had to do it all over again. It was,
Yeah, you restarted.
Yeah.
But as a competitive guy,
Sure.
you want to go to the highest level.
Absolutely.
And it's not that K-State and Oklahoma and Texas aren't that good. It's not that true at all. But when you go in the SEC, I think the difference is week to week to week to week to week. It was cool going to Swamp and playing down there. And not that you can't do it out of conference when you're in the Big 12, but it was neat to go to new venues and now to know where you park and know where the hotel is. All those things were second nature for us in the Big 12. And now the SEC, we're just learning. And we do have players. We got guys. Doriel Greenbeck can line up outside. No matter who we're playing across the country, he's going to be better than 99% of the guys we're playing. And as long as we keep getting guys like that, we'll be all right.
Have fun on the golf course. Be careful. There's some golf sharks out there. I've seen them. They're circling around. Look out, okay?
Thanks for having me.
Great to see you, Andy. Take
Appreciate
care. Andy Hill, the associate head coach and quarterbacks coach at the University of Missouri. We're at the Tiger Club Golf Tournament at Oakwood this afternoon on Between the Lines.